Thank you, Madam Postmaster. Jack and Teresa recently shared their successes with swim team, which got me thinking about my own unparalleled experience with swim team. Toastmasters and guests, it all began in the backyard pool where my sisters and I learned to swim at a relatively early age. I was the youngest, also the most daring. I still remember that look of awe and wonder in my sister's eyes when I could put my whole head underwater. They were amazed. I don't think either one of them still to this day will put their head underwater. I was sure I was destined for Olympic greatness. When I was 10, we moved to Chelan. The next summer, I convinced my parents to let me try out for swim team. The first day, my mom took me to the city park, and I went out on the dock with 20-some other hopefuls and Coach Chuck. He split us into two groups. The first group lined up on the dock. Our instruction was to swim to the other dock about 100 feet and back. The first group lined up, dove in, swam back, and then it was our turn. I thought, no sweat, I got this now. We lined up on the dock. I curled my toes around the edge to give the extra momentum on the dive. Coach Chuck blew his whistle and we were off. I dove in the water and swam my best strokes all the way to the other dock. Touch, turn. And then I realized the water around me had gotten quiet. And I looked up to see nearly everyone else in my heat already on the other dock. And the other few were almost there. I swam slower and slower. My arms and legs felt like lead. Suddenly I realized Coach Chuck was on his feet. On the edge of the dock, he yelled, "Are you okay?" I wanted to yell, "Do I look like I'm okay?" But all I could do was cough and sputter. The next thing that happened was the potential kids on the team got to see the demonstration of a real live water rescue. Pretty humiliating when Coach Chuck came out there with that flotation device and shoved it under me and hauled me back to the dock, helped me up onto the dock. I made my way through the crowd and got my towel and walked off the dock, trying to think of how I was going to convince my parents that we needed to move somewhere, anywhere else. My mother was there waiting, which surprised me, and I said, I don't know what happened, Mom. She put her arms around my soggy, shaking body. She said 4 words that I will never forget. She said, "It's okay. It's genetic." It's genetic. No, maybe tomorrow will be better. No, try it again. Nope. It's genetic. Then she proceeded to tell me her own swimming experience. She said, "I was a freshman at the UW, and back then, everybody had to prove proficiency in swimming. You had to swim for 10 minutes, you had to tread water for a minute, and you had to do a motionless float for a minute. Well," she said, "I got through the first 2 exercises just fine, and then the gal standing on the side of the pool with her clipboard said, 'All right, Virginia, time for your motionless float.'" I took a breath and assumed position. About 15 seconds later, she said, "Virginia, would you begin again?" Sure. So, Mom said I took a breath and assumed position, motionless float. The woman interrupted again and she said, "Virginia, you're supposed to float on the surface of the water." Mom said, I am. She said, no, honey, you're about 6 inches under. Well, try as she could, Mom could not float. So they passed her, but they wrote on the form, Virginia lacks buoyancy. It's probably genetic. Fast forward 20 years. My son, Mark, comes home from school all excited. Mom, I want to join swim team. All my friends are joining swim team. I thought, honey, I'm not sure that's a real good idea. He said, oh, come on, Mom. I'm a good swimmer. Well, I thought maybe he didn't inherit my lack of buoyancy. Maybe the genetics changed with this generation. I said, okay, sure, go ahead. You can join swim team. First day came. We were excited. I took my lawn chair to the pool, set it up by the side of the pool, praying the whole time that the poor child would not inherit my lack of buoyancy. He made it through the first 2 laps just fine. In fact, he made it through the whole hour. I was feeling really confident that this time he was going to make it. He had escaped what I had inherited. At the end of the hour, he got out of the pool and went over to his towel and wrapped it around himself. I stood up to congratulate him. He fell into my arms and burst into tears. He said, I can't do it. It's too hard. I held him in my arms, comforted him, and whispered in his ear, it's okay. It's genetic.